Libra, hope that you're doing great. Adrian here of AHNGreatLife.com. Welcome to my channel, and this is a general reading for 7 till 13 November for Libra. Hope that you're doing great. Obviously, please take this as it resonates. And I just want to very quickly share with you, because I've had a couple of especially over the last couple of weeks, I've had a couple of people that were asking me the same sort of thing about my regression hypnosis that I do. And the description for that is also like, there's a link in the description for my website. You can click on it and it gives you all the information on there. But just very briefly, because I've had a lot of people that came to me and they were very concerned, about, certain agents that they've taken into their body, as preventative measurements and supplements and those sort of things. And what I want to let you know, what I want to assure you, is that your mind is more powerful than we often give it credit for. You've got so much potential within yourself. As human beings, we probably use about 2% of our potential, and there's so much of that can still be untapped. Like within your DNA, and you can program and reprogram your DNA from the generational patterning that it has been, been sort of like said that it can be, and those sort of things. But even with a lot of the sort of fear and the genocide and everything that's going on at the moment, and that's sort of been going on for the last, say, almost 3 years now, I just want to let you know that within your subconscious mind lies the key for you to take full control of your mind. And I would say there's predominantly two options that I can, sort of make available to you from my side at this particular point in time. One being regression hypnosis, and the other one being an 8 weeks online mind unlocking and psychic development course, where you actually unlock a lot of the potential that is laying dormant within you. All of the details is down below in the description. You can obviously also email me if you would like to have more sort of information around that as well. All right, let's get to your reading. So for the first part of the reading, I'm going to use the Good Tarot by Colette Baron-Reid. It's probably one of my favorite decks of card decks, and the reason why I like it so much is because it focuses on your greatest good. It focuses on the things in life that sort of, how would I put this? That sort of serves you positively, because we have, as human beings, been told so many times who we are, how we are not, and those sort of things. But a lot of times, a lot of things that was being presented to us is being presented from other people's fear, and sometimes from their greed, which in a sense is fear as well. So let's see what we have. I'm going to draw you 3 cards, and let Spirit guide me to do more than 3 for you, Libra. And let's see what we have for 3 cards came right up. Let's see what they are for your 7 till 13 reading. So the first one we got out there is the 9 of Fire, which is the 9 of Wands, and you can see it's speaking about that magic over there. And Fire, which is Wands, which it's all about your inner energy. It's all about emotions. It's all about powerful strength. It's all about the inner world, because and strong messages coming through at the moment. Your inner world is what is really what sort of like creates your outer world. And I feel that for a lot of you, there's a lot of magic that's actually come about for you. There's a lot of magic that's actually unfolding for a lot of you in your life at the moment. You've got the Fool, which is incredible because it's about new beginnings. And then you've also got the Hierophant number 5, which is also about new beginnings. And in actual fact, I have to be honest with you, I have been guided to actually do them in the order of the Hierophant first, then the Fool, then the 9 of Fire. So I'm going to do it that way for you. So with the Hierophant, sorry. So with the Hierophant, this is about new beginnings, but this is also an energy, Libra, that that you might be feeling at the moment. For some of you, life might be feeling sort of conflicted at the moment. You might be feeling sort of stuck despite your best efforts, and you might be feeling that as you have that space of almost like taking 1 step forward and taking like 15 steps backwards. That's how it might feel for a lot of you. Maybe feeling that your best efforts is sort of like not coming to anything, not resulting in anything, like the best that you try, no matter what you do, no matter what you sort of like put out there, even from the best of intentions, it might feel for many of you that almost like being stuck. Now, what I want to ask you, and I want you to think of this very sort of like within your own capacity, but really sort of think about this, Libra. With everything that you do, are you trying to maintain a specific space where you are right now, or are you open to the idea that you know that you have to move forward? Because I feel that for some of you, there's a space of knowing that you have to move forward. It's a space of knowing that you have to take that next step. But in the same token, it's almost like even though you know you might be taking all these steps and trying all these things and these efforts and whatever, it almost feels like trying to maintain a space that you know it's time to let go of that space. And when we do that, even our best efforts don't really work out. All right. Because, and this is so wonderful also with the Hierophant, before we go to the full energy, the Hierophant energy is the energy that lets you know that, everything might sort of say to you at the moment, don't go forward, don't move forward, don't take that step, what if everything goes wrong, that sort of thing. So it is one of those energies that can feel very conflicting, that can also feel very overwhelming, that it's how do I say, it's almost like that it feels safer to not take that step. It feels safer to just sort of maintain where you are. Very much almost like the devil that sort of energy. But here is the beautiful promise for you with the Hierophant and directly afterwards with the Fool as well. So it's a double confirmation for you really that it's a space of new beginnings. A lot of you have done a lot of work. You've done a lot of inner work. You've released a lot. There's a lot of maybe inner pain, childhood pain, that you've been releasing. There's a lot of shadow work that's been done. There's a lot of inner work, balance that's been done, and now your soul has the desire to experience that new experience. Because when we let things go and when we release things, what happens is we create this beautiful new world for us, because and this beautiful new potential for us, because when we have everything is basically energy. But when we have patterns that we are maintaining within ourselves, and a lot of times, we are conscious of some of the patterns, but a lot of times we are not conscious of some of the patterns, but it still doesn't change the fact that it has an impact on our life, and the sort of like analogy that I like to make around that is that if you make a pot of stew and you put carrots into that pot of stew, no matter what you do, the carrots is in the pot of stew, and whether it boils away or whatever, it doesn't change the fact that the carrots is in the pot of stew. And if somebody eats the pot of stew and they're allergic to carrots, they're still going to have that sort of like, that effect from there. And so, but for you, this is almost that space where somehow magically, by some, whatever magical formula, you were able to sort of like take the carrots out of that equation over there. So now you sort of like created a space for new beginnings, for new things for you, because to maintain patterns that don't serve us positively takes a lot of our energy, and when you release those patterns, it's like spring cleaning. It creates space for new things, and this is what's being created for a lot of you, and that is why this is a space where you actually want your magic to shine. And I feel that for some of you, there might be those that maybe prefer that you rather sort of like suppress your energy. There might be those that prefer that you rather don't shine that bright. I'm sorry for shaking. They prefer that you maybe rather go back to that sort of like lessened opinion about yourself, where you would rather, hide underneath a rock as opposed to stand on top of the rock and sort of like shout and say, well, this is who I am. But the thing to remember in spaces like that is that when people sort of expect of you to tone yourself down in a sense, it often says a lot more about them than it actually says about you. Okay? And it can be very challenging when we have that in our life sometimes, where people want you to suppress who you are, almost like living out their sort of idealistic ideal of the world, of who you should be. So instead of wanting you to be yourself, maybe wanting sort of like you to kind of live more sort of like by the mold of what they expect of you. And when people sort of do things like that, it's usually because they themselves have unresolved patterns within themselves, and you might be activating that within them. Now, it doesn't mean that, this gives you like a free card to go around and, sort of like point fingers at people and, call them low vibing and that sort of things, because, that is a whole different sort of thing. But what you're just being encouraged to is to focus on yourself, is to focus on your magic. What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are your ideals? What is your light? What is the energetic and spiritual contribution that you as an individual can give to this world? And when I say spiritual, it doesn't have to be that you kind of like practice all this whole of like spirituality. It's more sort of like, what is your magic that you would like to give to the world? And for that deck, I use the good tarot by Colette Baron Reed. And then what I have next is the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. I really love this deck of cards. And Chris Ann actually launched her new deck of cards today. I'm quite excited to purchase myself a deck of that. It might take a while before it gets to South Africa, but that's perfectly fine. I'm prepared to wait. I'm prepared to wait for good stuff. But I think it's going to be a really wonderful deck because it's got a bit of a more of a light-hearted feel. The world has become so incredibly serious that something light-hearted might actually be a lot of fun. So let's see what we've got for you. We're just going to draw 3 cards for you in case Spirit guides me to get more, and for your recent past, your current energy, and also what's heading towards you. Woohoo, Page of Wands for your recent past. So some of you have sort of like thrown caution to the wind, and I feel it was about time for you to do that. So Page of Wands there in the recent past. In your current space, you've got the 7 of Wands, and in the energy that's heading towards you, you've got the Page of Cups. So for some of you, Libra, there was a space of, again, I feel that you found a beautiful sense of freedom within yourself. I feel that you have it's almost like for many of you, it's almost like when you think of a bird being inside of a cage, and then the bird sort of like, maybe it started off as a tiny little bird and now it's a bigger bird, and it's got like a like a wider sort of wingspan, and the cage is sort of like almost like pathetically small for this bird. And I feel that for many of you, your life experience has started to become like that, where it's almost like if you were this bird, you couldn't even sort of like stretch your feathers out properly anymore, because it's sort of like almost like stirred up the almost like the demons within others, where you had to almost be very calculated with yourself in many ways. Some of you might have also had, because a pattern like this often shows up, so some of you might have also had a lot of pain that you haven't dealt with, some inner conflict that you haven't dealt with. And when we sort of have that within ourselves, and I kind of speak from experience, because for many, many years in my life, I was basically running away from myself. I was running away from my spiritual gift. A lot of the things that I dealt with in childhood, and so all sorts of other traumas along the way, that I've dealt with in my life as well. I used to be very, very self-destructive. And I used to inflict a lot of really bad sort of situations upon myself because I didn't have any confidence. And I tried to constantly hide away from the world and hide away from, from who I am. And I feel that for many of you, you sort of had that pattern, and you might have created a lot of, sort of like, or sort of like inner conflict within yourself. You might have created a lot of that. And, there's a definite release that has taken place there for you, and a big sense of relief really that came along with that. And so where you are at the moment, with the 7 of Wands, this is a space where you are really being encouraged by the universe to let your power shine, and to let your light shine, and to let that sense of individuality of who you are, to let it shine and to let it come forth. And as you do that, as you really sort of like, as we go inside, and you get the truth of who you are, then a lot of you can really shine. Now, the thing that I always like to remind people, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is coming up for you, but I want to give you the whole context of it, that, a lot of times people speak about, let your energy shine, be the goddess, be the god, be the power, be the whatever, stand in your light and shine your light and all those type of things. But in order to know who you are, in order to shine your light, first of all, you need to know who you are. In order to know who you are, you need to understand who you are not. Okay, and I feel that for a lot of you, you have maintained a very long, outstretched period of who you are not. And now that you understand who you are, you've got a better understanding of who you are. It's a reminder that you're first of all not that previous person, that you were before. And as you encourage at the moment to let that inner divinity of you shine and that inner light of you shine, and that beautiful sort of being that you are opening a whole new world of abundance for you. So there's a lot of abundance that is opening for you at the moment, but you are once again, encouraged to let that light of yours shine. And then with the energy heading towards you, the prospective energy, this is my favorite card in this deck. It's the Page of Cups. And for me, this energy is always like, that desires that you have in your heart, those wonderful things that you'd like to have. And for me, it's almost like those things, almost like those dreams that we sort of give up on. And, because you're almost like, well, it's never going to happen. Only if pigs really fly will it ever happen. And then obviously very cutely over there, then, that little pig is flying there. But it's because your vibration is different. So a lot of amazing magical breakthroughs can happen for you if you do allow that light, that special, beautiful light of who you are when you let it shine. Okay. We're going to clarify using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot. We're going to clarify the recent past first and how amazing. Okay, a fourth card wants to come out. What a beautiful one, though. You've got the Emperor followed by the Empress. So again, a lot of you started to stand your ground. You started to find who you are. You started to discover who you are past sort of like the perceptions of who the world said that you are supposed to be. I feel that for many of you, whereas for a long period of time, you may have sort of like almost like identified yourself by other people's descriptions. You moved away from there, and so you opened a sense of abundance for yourself. You opened the flow of abundance, and there with the Seven of Cups and the Two of Pentacles, which is the second card that wanted to come out, a lot of you got to see how you almost create for yourself the energy that you don't want, how you almost create for yourself the experiences that you don't want, how the inner patterning and the inner beliefs about yourself, has been creating conflicts that may have seemed like it's other people's faults or the world's faults or your boss's fault or your partner's fault, your child, your parent, whatever. But a lot of you got to see how the patterning within you that you may not have been aware of or that was very difficult for you to look at, how that created the unwanted experiences in your life. And so things started to change for you in a very positive direction, because when we become aware of the patterns that are holding us back, then it sort of loses practically like about 99% of its hold on you. So that is really, really great. And now it's a time for you to shine. Okay. Now let's clarify the Seven of Wands, which is in your which is in your current space. And so 4 cards came out again. So definitely stability, lots and lots of stability. So for those of you that are concerned about stability in your life, there's definitely stability coming about. You've got the Knight of Wands and you've got the Chariot. Then you also have the Hanged Man and you've got the Ten of Wands. So, and my nose is itching, which always means to me that it's very, very powerful energies that are coming through. Some of you are maybe contemplating going for love, going for your dreams, going for your desires, going for what you wanted. Maybe for a lot of you, for a period, you said, I don't need love, I don't need, happiness, or I don't need sort of like those sort of things. And I feel for a lot of you, you're starting to go for that and you are being encouraged to go for that. And you are also being encouraged to sort of like release to the universe, to release with faith, to know that the universe has got your back. And anything, any sort of emotions that might still be in your life, any sort of hurt and pain and all of those type of things that is still in your life, especially for those of you that are holding out for apologies that you hope that other people are going to give you, or they're going to be regretful for what they sort of did towards you, don't hold out on that. Okay, this is almost like it's like you are a new version of yourself. So even when you look in the mirror, for many of you, when you look at yourself, you might even see that it's like you sort of look different to the way you would have looked before, because at the inner part, you sort of like a different person. and it's time to let that new person shine. So a lot of you may have done a lot of healing, sort of like more in privacy, haven't really spoken about it, but now it's time to let that light shine. And it doesn't mean that you have to sort of like shove down everybody's throats what your new sort of thoughts and beliefs about life and yourself are, and prosperity and abundance. But in the same token, don't hide under that rock. It's time to stand on top of that rock and to boldly sort of like, take a breath of life and open your heart and open your arms and open your soul and your mind and everything and say, I am open and receptive to all the wonderful, beautiful things that the universe has available for me. Okay, let's look at the Page of Cups. We're just going to draw one card for that, which is the energy that is prospectively heading your way. And oh my goodness, you've got the Two of Cups. So this is about things coming together, contracts coming together. It could also be love, it could be marriage, it could be shine. And all of that is happening because there's an inner balance that you found within yourself. And when we find the inner balance within ourselves, that is when it reflects out to the outside world. Okay, let's see what we've got for you in Monology. Going to end off for you with the Monology card. Oh, that one went right out. What does it say? New moon in Aries, it's time to take action. Okay, so it's time to stand on top of that rock, on top of that stone, on top of that wall, on top of that that pedestal, and just say to the world, this is who I am, and this is who I choose to be, and and this is my contribution to the world, and I am opening it to whoever is willing and open and receptive towards the inner joy that I have available to give. Okay, so and if you are ready to take that next step in life and you're opening yourself to the universe supporting you, then I encourage you to place your hand on your heart, take a nice deep breath and say, I claim this for myself, and know that the universe will support you as you go through this new space of this new beginnings, because new beginnings can be challenging. But know that you're not alone. Know that the entire universe is here to support you, and all you need to do is say, yes, I'm open to that, and the magic will flow. Okay, so that's what I got for you, my beautiful Libras. I hope that it helps. As always, I really appreciate you liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, because that helps my channel to grow. And then, if you're obviously interested in all the services that I have, and you want to have a personal reading, you're more than welcome to visit my website. There's a link down below in the description. But also the main purpose for me with the website was also to create a platform where you can just go and have a look to remind you of the magical, beautiful, unlimited being that you've always been. So if you just feel like you want some motivation as well, you're more than welcome to visit it for that purpose also. From my heart, namaste, love and light. See you next time.